Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Jam podcast, where the K is silent. This is episode 2, where we will be discussing a parody of William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. I'm KJ.
And I'm Madeline.
My name is Josh.
I'm Mackenzie.
I'm Addie.
And I'm Jasmine.
Okay, so to start off, we're going to see, so obviously Romeo loves Juliet and vice versa. Who else do we think Romeo loves and Juliet loves, and what type of love languages do they show and receive from these people?
I believe Romeo has a filial love for Mercutio.
I agree. Obviously Juliet is very fond of her nurse. I mean, she loves her a lot.
I wanted to bring that up. It's very like Storge. It's
family type.
We don't see like too much of like strong Storge because of the
rivalry.
Yeah, such a high tension between the two families. But we do actually get to see pretty strong Storge love between Juliet and her nurse, which is it's refreshing.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, we don't see much love from like her mom, so maybe like the nurse is even kind of like a mother figure to her, since she's always been there and taken care of her through everything.
Yeah, and I think kind of with Romeo, kind of going back to what you were saying, he kind of sees Mercutio as a brother because he isn't really as close with a lot of his family because of a lot of the tensions going on. Mm-hmm. So I think that is kind of his strongest bond that he has, and is definitely kind of philia. And then also, I think you also see some of the Storge love towards Mercutio from Romeo.
I like the fact that there is like Storge love between characters that are not necessarily blood, because you can have a familial love for someone who's not necessarily family, and that's a nice thing for like any media to touch on because of how boxed in we kind of think of different types of love is.
Yeah, I also wanted to say how Romeo sought revenge against who killed Mercutio, so that really shows his love towards him.
Yeah.
And then we can also talk about like Romeo's infatuation with Rosaline, which is kind of like maybe like a ludus love. I mean, it was kind of just one-sided. I mean, we never really saw her at all, and it was just more of like she was just brought up a lot by him and his friends especially.
It also feels very short-lived because like once he meets Juliet, it's like that's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it for him. He's like, I'm done.
Who's Rosalind?
This is the one.
Who is that? Yeah. That's my baby.
Yeah. I definitely think that he probably never got to pragma love with Rosalind just because of how fast he does move on. So I definitely think it stayed either in ludus or maybe even eros, but definitely did not get up to any higher levels with Rosalind. Mm-hmm. But definitely still enough where he was sad about it. He was a little heartbroken.
Right. Yeah. With how young they are, though, I'm not even sure if it got to Eros. It's just such, like, a short-lived love. Like, we never really saw anything. She wasn't... in the movie, she was kind of just a plot point rather than a character. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we still hear enough about her to know that there's some sort of connection between her and Romeo.
Yeah. And personally, because I mean they are so young, and the time frame of like the entire, it's only like what, 2 days, I honestly don't even believe that Romeo and Juliet even got out of the ludus stage and went into eros, because they moved so fast, and it was just kind of like very playful, like, oh my gosh, like we have to get married, like they never really so got fast. Like to the deep and dirty stuff before they even thought about getting married. So in my opinion, which I know is probably controversy, some people probably think that it may have gotten to eros, but I think that it stayed in ludus the entire 2 days that they were together. Well, with that being said, let's move on. For a story so famous for eros love, Romeo and Juliet depicts many more types than just that one. What other types of love do you think this film depicts? And let's discuss the different types of Greek love we observed, who's involved, and how do they show this type of love.
Thankfully, we've already like touched on this pretty well. But there are some relationships between characters that are not Romeo or Juliet that did kind of get touched on, but we haven't really discussed yet.
Yeah, I would say that the priest, he would show kind of agape love towards Romeo and Juliet. Obviously as a priest, he's going to show God's love through the things that he's doing, but he's also, I think, has some philia towards them. He's very friendly and trying to help him out in any way that he can. So I think you see both of those with the priest specifically.
And I like how the mayor or the prince character is almost a parody of the priest, who also kind of shows agape love for the city itself by being so angry at the Montagues and Capulets for their rivalry and causing so much chaos, because he cares for people that he's never talked to or knows the name of or has even seen before. So I like that they kind of show their love for everyone in different ways, where the mayor is kind of on a larger scale while the priest is in kind of a smaller scale with Romeo and the inner workings of the Montagues Capulets.
Yeah. And speaking of the Capulets, I mean, Tybalt definitely had a Storge kind of love for his Capulets. I mean, he did anything for them and to make sure that they were safe. Maybe a little bit too crazy, in my opinion. He took it a little bit too far, especially when he saw Romeo at the party. He just kind of went bonkers after the dad told him to just leave it alone for right now.
I'd even go as far to say that even though we don't quite talk about this love as much, that love is almost mania. That he's obsessed with the title of Capulet. That there's there's just this bond that he has that is obsessive, to where he does some pretty crazy stuff over being a Capulet.
Yeah.
I mean, and he even laid down his life in the end for them. But that's why I think it was closer to mania, because I mean, he just wouldn't stop and he just kept pursuing, and that's ultimately why he even lost his life and kind of dishonored the Capulets near the end there, because he was so crazy about killing Romeo and getting justice for whatever it was justice needed to be done for. So I agree with the mania aspect on that.
I think another character that shows something other than Eros would be Paris, because even though him and Juliet don't really have many interactions, he's still always very playful and flirty. So I see some ludus there, and he's trying to win her over, not knowing that she's already basically married. She's already with somebody else, but he still kind of persistently shows ludus towards her. And even Storge, he's showing love for her family and trying to kind of butter him up and make sure that he's in good with everybody, so he's not part of that feud.
Yeah.
I like the term "butter him up" because it feels like it's almost like it's not quite genuine. You're just doing that for to further a purpose, not because you really mean it.
Yeah, there's not really ever a actual connection between the two. It's just kind of they're kind of arranging the marriage, so it's they don't even know each other yet,
right?
In any way, shape, or form.
Moving on. So obviously the costumes are a big part, especially when we went to the costume party. That was a great scene in my opinion. What are y'all's top 3 outfits from the film, and why do we think that they're so iconic for their characters?
I would say that my top favorite one would be when Juliet is in the church, when she's supposedly dead or under the influence of whatever medicine she was given by the priest. I just think that her outfit is very pretty, and it kind of goes in with the whole angelic feeling of the building that she's in.
More pure too.
Yeah, very pure.
Yeah.
Also, the angel motif, maybe kind of hinting to what we are quickly rolling towards at the end.
Yeah, and then even at the costume party, she is dressed up as an angel. She's wearing all white. She's got the angel wings on. So I think that it depicts her as an angel in many
Kind of
shots.
a purity.
Yeah,
almost.
very pure.
Innocence and heavenly love. That's what her angel costume depicts.
My personal favorite was Marsupial's drag costume.
Yeah.
That one, it was very funny, and like when he got up and was like singing and dancing, I feel like it kind of just like lifted the whole feeling of the party, even though they were definitely not supposed to even be there in the first place. He kind of just made it fun in the end.
There's like a sense of philautia that goes into that costume. Like, yeah, look at what I'm wearing, and I love myself, and I'm having a great time, guys.
Yeah.
Like, just doesn't care. And I think that that's a big part of philautia, not caring about what another person thinks, because you like yourself.
Yeah.
And I love that about him because he was so carefree and outgoing.
Like throughout the entire movie, I mean, he was just fun. He was always trying to uplift Romeo's spirits and anything. And I really think that shows that their bond and everything that they did. I mean, he was constantly trying to make Romeo feel better in whatever situation that he was in at that time.
Yeah, another outfit that I kind of wanted to touch on was Romeo's outfit. He's dressed as a knight in shining armor. So it kind of shows that he's going after her. He wants to be her knight in shining armor. He wants to protect her. And I think that ultimately is what kills him in the end, because he kind of fails to protect her, or he sees it as failing to protect her, and then just can't live without her.
And I like that connection between their two costumes, with Romeo as a knight in shining armor, but Juliet is already an angel. That he is trying to save her, but she's already gone.
Yeah, doomed from the beginning.
That they were doomed from the beginning. And that is what makes Romeo and Juliet so upsetting, because like they are just doomed from the beginning.
That's right.
I mean, there was just that forbidden love from the very start. I mean, knowing that they came from opposite sides of the aisle and trying to make it work, but it did not.
The house was on fire.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Okay, so obviously water is a big thing. I mean, they're by the ocean. There's fountains, pools. What connection do we think comes from that water in those different scenes?
Maybe purity, like they keep falling in the fountain water.
Purity. Yeah, I do like the idea of purity, because I mean, in the sense of holiness, water is pure. And so maybe that's what it kind of is when they fall into the water at that one point.
Yeah, and if we think of water as like holy water, another connection to Juliet's angel costume. She's the purest, the most holy, if you want to say that, with the water. And they meet in it was like a hot tub. Like, isn't that where
when
they
they first
meet?
meet, they're at a bathroom, but you can see through a fish tank.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like
So
you're seeing
it's
the
still water.
Yeah, the love at first sight through the water.
So let's say purity. It's just so pure. They're looking at each other right through purity. Like purity.
Like the
suppose.
water separates them physically, but they're drawn to each other like instantly through that water.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, the hot tub is like in the garden, like behind the house, right?
Yeah, when they...
Yeah.
Do they jump or do they fall?
I think
Fall?
I think they jump in it.
Like a jump from there?
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know if they fall or if they jump.
They kind of swim in it for a little while, and
Yeah,
Romeo hides while
Yeah.
Juliet is discovered out there because they make a lot of noise.
They
Hanging out
like,
there.
yeah, because they were kind of swimming together, and that was kind of a very ludus-filled scene where they were kind of being playful, but they were also like, "Oh, I'm like deeply in love with you all of a sudden."
I mean, this was like what, a few hours after they met.
Yeah.
Very like intimate scene.
Yeah,
And I also think that the water is a nice motif for purity, because it also, water itself can be very dangerous as a force of nature. And they live right next to the ocean, which is widely regarded as water's biggest danger, the ocean, with the vast unknowing.
and the currents and all that.
Yeah, I will say also kind of going into that danger, there's like a big storm that's going on and it's raining. So he's drenched in water when he finds out that when he like finds her dead at the church, because there's a huge storm outside. It kind of plays into that kind of like despair and like sadness.
It kind of shows how the theme of purity that we've given water can go from something that draws people together to something that pushes people apart, or is something that can cause happiness and love or sadness and despair. Between the peaceful fish tank and the raging ocean.
Storms.
Okay, so when people say love story, obviously Romeo and Juliet comes to mind. Do we think this film play belongs in Professor Jules' course? Why or why not? And if we say no, what should we replace it with as a better example of a love story?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
In my opinion, I do think that Romeo and Juliet is a good love story, but I mean, in the end, they die because of their obsession with one another. I'm not saying that we should take it out because it is a love story. I mean, they fall in love very quickly and get married very, very quickly and then die very, very quickly. But in my opinion, when I think love, I always go to Titanic, which is also a very quick love story. And yes, Jack also dies in the end. But I feel like that's also a great love story. And it's kind of like, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, the same kind of theme. They're not supposed to be together, but they're drawn to each other anyways because, I mean, she's upper class and he's lower class. So I wouldn't say that we would replace it, but maybe also Titanic would be a good option.
Yeah.
Also with water as a big theme in the Titanic. Water. And water is kind of the thing that, drowns Jack in the end. Also, they're both J and R. I just think that's... they have the same initials. I'm about to get real personal because I personally I could not get behind this movie. It was so hard for me to comprehend. As someone, we have all seen Romeo and Juliet, or we've all analyzed it in class in some way or some form. And this version of it was just really hard for me to digest. I think that if it was Romeo and Juliet, if we're doing Romeo and Juliet, I'd rather see a parody of it that has a different concept for the parody, or some type of, or just a different Shakespeare love story to keep Shakespeare in the curriculum, because we've all got to do Shakespeare.
Another good love movie that I think could replace it or kind of shows love better is also The Notebook. Because you see a lot more fight for that love. This one, it was all just very kind of quick and almost kind of handed to them. They became infatuated so quickly. There wasn't really anything that they had to fight for. They just kind of decided from the get-go that this is going to happen one way or another. But you don't see that kind of yearning for Juliet. It's just kind of an instant infatuation.
Which is it's a great theme, that moving too quickly or becoming too obsessed and trying to push things too far too fast can lead to disaster, which is something that love stories don't often touch on. But I like the fact that in Romeo and Juliet, specifically them pushing it to happen immediately is what causes their ultimate demise. So I think that Romeo and Juliet itself as a story is a great and unique love story to put into a curriculum like this.
Going back to what you were saying about how this movie was just really hard to watch, I agree with that.
Yes.
Not because I hate the love story or anything like that, but Shakespeare for me personally has always been really hard to read. But then listening to it, I was just so lost the entire time. I was kind of just trying to pick up on background cues on what was going on because, I mean, if I'm being honest, half the time I had no idea what was going on. I'm like, okay, well, they're here, so this must be happening at this point in time. Because it was just really hard for me to understand.
The pacing of the movie felt a little bit more like I was I could feel my brain spending more energy on deciphering each line as it was said, rather than just enjoying the media itself, which I'm not sure if it made it easier to analyze at all, or if it made it harder, or if it just kind of made me not like the movie.
See, I probably would have liked it better if they kept like the way they did the movie was perfect in the like sense of Romeo and Juliet, but if they would have put it in like standard English, I think it would have been much easier to watch and understand what they were trying to go at.
Which is to say, I do love the concept of a parody that is in modern day with still Shakespearean language. I just think it would work much better in a like Shakespearean comedy rather than a tragedy, because there's just such a high dissonance that it feels so wrong.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie for what they did with it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Who was y'all's favorite character in the film? What was unique to their character that made you kind of like drawn to them? And what kind of love did they display throughout the film to either themselves or others?
I like Romeo because he was played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay, sorry.
Get that out there.
Yeah, I had to get that out of my system. Okay. But no, I do actually quite like Romeo as a character. It seems like he's a lot more focused on than Juliet. It feels like he gets more screen time than her, because it also feels like he's just got more going on, which I guess if we go back to their Halloween costumes, he's the knight in shining armor. That makes him the protagonist. That's who we're going to follow the most. But I just like his development and how he's just so, I want to say, like, stubborn as a character.
Yeah, very stubborn.
Like, he knows what he wants and he's getting it down.
Yeah.
I will say my favorite character was also Romeo, because he didn't give in to the family feud. And he fought against like all the backlash that he got to get what he truly wanted, even though that ultimately led to his death. And he also just showed so many types of love towards like Tybalt and all the other characters, that he's a very loving character, even though we don't see that fully get developed into like higher levels of love. But I just think overall he's a very well-rounded character.
Yeah.
Maybe he has like a agape love because he pretty much loves all of the characters.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like there's a sense that he believes the best in everyone, particularly after meeting Juliet, that he's like, well, actually, maybe the family name's not so bad. Maybe we can love each other.
Like a
actually.
forgiving love.
Yeah.
Like, even if he doesn't like love them in like a Eros or a Philia Prima way, I mean, kind of just like a forgiving love where he's like, I don't hate you, but I forgive you, and I'm not going to hold it against you. Whatever it was that you did to wrong me, that kind of situation.
Because he wouldn't fight Tybalt because it was Juliet's cousin. So like he was saying like that's his family now too. So like he wasn't going to fight with him, even if he hated him.
Right, and I think forgiveness is a big part of agape love.
So my favorite character, going back to earlier, Mercutio. I mean, his character throughout the entire like movie. I mean, he was just so fun. He was always there for Romeo. In the end, it made me very, very sad when he died. But I think that just kind of shows like the love that he really had to sacrifice himself in that situation. And then for Romeo to go and attempt to avenge him, and then it not going so well, and he gets banned from being in the city and all that kind of stuff. But I think he was my favorite character because of how playful he was. I mean, from the costume party to always being there for Romeo, giving advice even though Romeo didn't listen to it half the time. But I think he was just really there for Romeo in every way.
Yeah, I mean, he shows so much love, he's got the audience loving him too.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, he's so great.
I would say Juliet because of her innocence and how brave she is, and also of how she's not afraid to follow her heart in the end, and ultimately she willingly took her life for somebody that she loved.
She loved Romeo so much that she wouldn't marry somebody else, and ended up deciding that she wanted to die.
Yeah.
Not actually die. She took a sleeping potion, but
And then she killed herself again.
yeah, and then she killed herself after that.
Yes.
But she was determined not to marry this person, that she faked her own death so that she could stay with Romeo. So.
And I also really like the nurse. Like, I feel like that is who Juliet needed. Like, she confided in her and just stuff like that. And I just feel like that's somebody that Juliet, like,
Yeah.
Also
really
just-
loved and needed.
I just like the way she was acted in the
Yeah.
movie as well.
Yeah.
Like she was just really fun.
Yeah.
She was. She was always there. And I mean, she always tried to do what was best for Juliet, even though like she knew that her parents had an arranged marriage. She had gone and talked to Romeo and was like, if you meet him at the church at whatever time it was, you guys will be wed and all that stuff. So she was always there for not Romeo, Juliet, even though she was going against her technically boss's like word. So
Yeah, and like if that got figured out, like she was definitely at least fired. So
at least fired, maybe something else. So
yeah,
Maybe killed.
yeah.
so that's like just an even bigger like expression of how much love she showed. She was risking herself for Juliet, which is it's nice to see a character that really takes that risk the entire time. Like there's no safety net. They're just doing it.
Yeah. All right, let's see. What was our favorite scene that depicted what you feel like was the biggest love defining moment in the film? And it could be like a family friend love or a romantic love.
I think my favorite scene was when Romeo drank the poison in the church, because it showed like he loved Juliet so much that he would rather die than be without her. So I feel like with it being like a romantic movie, like that is like a huge profession of his love. So I think it was definitely a very romantic scene, and that he wanted to be with her for all of his, like the rest of his life, and then even after, if she was gonna be dead, he wanted to go with her.
Yeah. My favorite like love defining moment, it was more of a family friend love, and it was between Romeo and Mercutio whenever Mercutio was killed by the Capulets, and then Romeo immediately was like, I have to avenge him. I mean, Mercutio's love for Romeo to sacrifice himself, and then for Romeo to go and be like, okay, I have to avenge him. I mean, that just showed their type of love in the movie.
I also would say the balcony scene, like where Romeo risked his life to go see her. It was like,
Yeah, climbing that wall.
yeah,
It's a classic scene, and it's classic for a reason. It's a good one. And I also really like it, actually. And there was a new spin on it in the movie, and it was actually kind of it was an enjoyable one with the, like, I like the little hot tub scene where they're hanging out in the water, and then he's got to like hide behind the little rock in the hot tub that's there for some reason. It was like, it was just so pure. I liked it. It was enjoyable.
Okay. So, last question. What do we think the biggest message of the film was? Does it involve love, or why or why not?
I think that the biggest message was like young love, and that like moving too fast can end badly. And I think it's like kind of hinting that you should take your time and kind of be more involved and not just like rush into things.
Yeah. Definitely for more modern times, I agree. Like, it for younger people, I mean, that's why they kind of do this in high school and in college too. I mean, it's just saying, it's a warning, like, hey, you can move fast, but in the end, you either might not end up together or death. Hopefully not death. But, moving too fast is definitely not the right way to go in it at all.
Yeah. It's kind of like a patience is a virtue type thing. I also got a very similar overarching theme from the movie. To take it slow, and maybe to find a different way, because they kind of went, this is a case where you'd want to go over the mountain rather than through, in this case, where you need to wait for the storm to pass almost.
yeah.
And then the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet, I think, illustrates that pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, every decision that was made in the movie was just so fast-paced. Like, being like, okay, I want to take this potion, I want to kill myself, or I'm going to go kill Tybalt for killing Mercutio. And the first scene with the gas station, like, all right, some word was just said,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna start shooting each other now. Like, I mean, every decision that was made throughout the entire film, there was no thinking on it. There was no taking the time to like kind of process it. It was like, all right, this is what happened. This is what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna go do it now.
If they took their time, I feel like things could have went way differently.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Another is like love is beautiful but fragile. It's like we see a lot of like how sacred and pure their love is, but like love exists in a violent world, and it's like
Yeah,
Yeah.
like slow down.
sometimes too fragile to survive. Like in the end.
That statement, love exists in a violent world. I really like that because the modern setting of this movie really encapsulated that, I think, with just how many swords were being drawn, I suppose. And I don't know, those words resonated with me.
Yeah, I agree. Alrighty. Well, thank you for listening.
This has been episode 2 of the Jam podcast, where the K is silent, and we hope you enjoyed our analysis.